Hold on to your wallets, folks, because Donald Trump's so-called big beautiful bill just cleared its first Senate hurdle, and it's already causing more chaos than a Black Friday sale at a dollar store. This 940-page tax cut and spending/extravaganza has sparked a firestorm of backlash, with everyone from welfare recipients to billionaires like Elon Musk clutching their pearls and screaming, "What the actual heck?" Buckle up, because we're diving into this legislative leviathan to figure out why it's got the nation in a tizzy. Welcome to Libo News, where we unpack the world's messiest stories with the clarity of a PowerPoint presentation and the sass of a stand-up comic. Tonight, we're tackling Trump's big, beautiful bill, a name so absurdly grandiose, it sounds like something you'd find on a Times Square marquee next to Cats, the musical. But don't let the sparkly title fool you. This bill is a 940-page monster that promises tax cuts for the rich, slashes to programs like Medicaid and SNAP, and a whole lot of drama that's got both sides of the political aisle reaching for the nearest bottle of antacids. So, let's break it down, John Oliver style, with facts, fury, and just a pinch of existential dread. What's in the bill? First, let's talk about what's actually in this thing. At 940 pages, it's less a bill and more a doorstop with ambitions. According to reports, it's packed with 3.7 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for corporations and the ultra-wealthy, and 1.2 trillion in spending cuts that hit programs like Medicaid, SNAP, and other safety nets harder than a linebacker tackling a quarterback. It's like someone took a budget, fed it into a shredder, and then glued it back together with gold leaf for the top 1%. Trump himself has hyped it up, promising goodies like 100% expensing for US. Investments, no taxes on tips or overtime, and deductions for car loan interest, but only for American-made cars, because apparently your Toyota Camry doesn't deserve love. Sounds like a populist dream, right? Well, hold that thought, because the fine print is where things get uglier than a tax audit on April 15th. The backlash, a chorus of, "Oh hell no." The bill barely squeaked through its first Senate vote, 51-49, with 3 Republicans, including North Carolina's Thom Tillis, giving it a hard pass. Tillis even announced he's retiring from the Senate, probably because he'd rather not spend the next few years explaining why he voted against a bill that's got more red flags than a bullfighting convention. And it's not just GOP rebels sounding the alarm. Democrats like Senator Elizabeth Warren are calling it a disgusting abomination that'll rip healthcare away from millions while ballooning the deficit to fund tax breaks for billionaires. Even Elon Musk, yes, that Elon Musk, the guy who's basically a walking meme at this point, has slammed it as utterly insane and a pork-filled abomination that could drive the country into debt slavery. When Elon Musk, a man who wants to colonize Mars, thinks your bill is too far out there, you might want to rethink your life choices. Why the outrage? Let's get to the meat of it. Why is everyone so mad? For starters, the cuts to Medicaid and SNAP could leave over 11 million people without critical support. That's right, 11 million. To put that in perspective, that's like kicking the entire population of Ohio out of their safety net. 1 in 4 nursing homes is warning they might have to close if this bill passes, which means grandma could be out on the street and no, she's not going to be thrilled about it. Meanwhile, the tax cuts are so skewed toward the wealthy that it's like Robin Hood, but in reverse, stealing from the poor to give to the rich, and then maybe buying a private jet for the Sheriff of Nottingham. And then there's the process. This bill was dropped like a surprise album by Beyoncé, just before midnight on a Friday, giving senators about as much time to read its 940 pages as you get to decide whether to hit snooze on your alarm clock. Critics are calling it a rushed, opaque mess with items hidden in its pages like Easter eggs in a bad video game. Even some Republicans are grumbling that the Senate's version might make things worse, which is like saying, "Don't worry, we're upgrading your dumpster fire to a full-blown volcano." The bigger picture. What's at stake? Now, let's zoom out. This bill isn't just about numbers, it's about what kind of country we want to be. Do we want a society where the ultra-rich get richer while millions lose access to healthcare and food assistance? Or do we want something a bit less, dystopian? The Congressional Budget Office has warned that this bill could jack up the deficit while gutting programs that keep people afloat. And let's not forget the political fallout. With Republicans barely holding the Senate and facing a Monday deadline for a final vote, this bill is a high-stakes gamble that could either cement Trump's legacy or fracture his party faster than you can say Reno. The Musk factor. Billionaire versus billionaire. Oh, and let's talk about Elon Musk for a second, because he's turned this into a billionaire cage match. Musk, who recently quit Trump's administration because apparently even he has limits, has been tweeting up a storm calling the bill destructive and shaming anyone who supports it. This is the same guy who's usually all about disruption, so when he's clutching his pearls over a bill, you know it's got issues. It's like watching two titans of ego duke it out, Trump with his big beautiful bill and Musk with his I'm gonna tweet this to death energy. Grab the popcorn, because this feud is spicier than a habanero smoothie. What happens next? So, where do we go from here? The Senate's still debating, and the final vote is looming like a storm cloud over a picnic. If it passes, we could see a seismic shift in how America prioritizes its spending and who gets left behind. If it fails, Trump's agenda takes a hit, and the GOP might have to go back to the drawing board, assuming they can find a pencil sharp enough to tackle 940 pages. Either way, the backlash is only getting louder, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Look, folks, Trump's big beautiful bill might sound like a catchy campaign slogan, but it's shaping up to be a policy piñata that's bursting with controversy. It's a reminder that in Washington, beautiful often means beneficial for the few, and big just means big trouble for the rest of us. So, stay informed, stay loud, and maybe start practicing your pitchfork waving skills, because this fight is far from over. Thanks for watching Libo News. We'll see you next time, unless we're all too busy trying to afford groceries. Good night.